The Lich King always seemed like a very dangerous threat, to be honest, but as the lore expanded and we learned about Sargeras, the old gods, and the entire cosmos, the Lich King was essentially just a minor nuisance, or at least that is what we thought until recently. However, now with the Shadowlands, we've learned that there might be a lot more going on behind the curtain. So, who exactly created the Lich King, and why was Bastion so scared of Arthas? Brought to you by Gamivo.com. Get the cheapest game time on the market, as well as other Warcraft products. Check out the link in the description below. While Arthas seems to be a lot more important than we previously thought, I don't think he was chosen for some specific reason, as in he's special, but instead circumstances led to him becoming the Lich King. Originally, Legion created the Jailer of the Dead. The dreadlords especially crafted the armor in order to conquer Azeroth to set the ground for the Burning Legion invasion. Well, it turns out that there might be a lot more depth to that very short story. At the moment, this is all speculation, but there are some really plausible theories going around. The big breakthrough right now is that when Uther was killed and he couldn't ascend, the Kyrians were scared beyond measure, as these guys have been around since forever, and having bad guys running around and killing good people was just your average day, nothing to be disturbed by. But when they saw that Uther's soul was wounded, they realized they had a much bigger problem at hand. As Deva said, Arthas was a dark agent of the Maw that ran freely across the mortal world. To put it simply, the Maw is like the worst place ever, inescapable, and only the worst of the absolute worst go there, but somehow the Lich King could utilize the power of this dark realm on Azeroth. All of this was done through the armor and frostborn, the runes that were put in there within the Maw, possibly even by the Jailer himself. Now, the only connection between Azeroth and the Jailer and this story seem to be the dreadlords, unless Blizzard just decides to retcon that, which raises a million different questions, but let's just narrow it down. First, what is the relation between the Legion, the Void, and the Jailer? And second, who are the dreadlords actually serving? Who is the master of the dreadlords? As far as we know, dreadlords have been around long before the Burning Crusade and before Sargeras went insane, and they have wreaked havoc upon the cosmos for many millennia. While we know that these specific dreadlords were agents of Kil'Jaeden, they either collaborated with the Jailer or somehow infiltrated this dark realm and just stole the armor. If anyone could do this, it would be the Natrazim, as these guys are like the most devious and evil beings around. Plus, they're essentially vampires and they feed on life, so it wouldn't be surprising to see them connected to death. So here's my theory. Originally, the Jailer and Sargeras collaborated to destroy Azeroth, and the dreadlords were the tool that they used. Ner'zhul was just nobody important, an independent agent, and he just wanted to break free, so he kinda ruined this master plan, and then he was replaced by Arthas. Now, Arthas was just an unfortunate character caught in the middle of this massive thing, and literally got his soul destroyed in the entire process. However, as he became the Lich King, it turned out he was stuck between powers beyond imagining. And I think this might just be the rift between the Jailer and Sargeras. Legion wanted to destroy him as the big plan failed, but for the Jailer he proved useful and could be his ticket to expand. Now, what completely messes up everything is that we don't know much about the Jailer and what does he actually want. There are hints that he is interested in the World Soul, but nothing concrete. But we know for sure what Sargeras wants, and that is the World Soul. It is said that the Jailer was essentially imprisoned eons ago, maybe there was some massive war, and he was imprisoned in the inescapable Maw, so maybe by consuming the World Soul, this could be his ticket to break free. Thus, the two giants, Sargeras and the Jailer, started working together to break Azeroth and to just consume it from both sides. So this brings us to having an agent of the Jailer on Azeroth, which completely messes up the balance of life and death. Now, whether Arthas was actually working with the Jailer or whether he was just a pawn of his, we don't really know at the moment, although he definitely sensed the power and could possibly communicate with the Jailer. But yeah, this guy was not just a simple Dark Prince, it's like we had an avatar of the Jailer roaming around among the mortals. Now, here is my theory on what actually broke the Machine of Death. See, when Arthas died, he didn't go to the Arbiter for him to decide his fate, as should be the case for essentially everyone. Instead, Bastion intervened, and Uther just threw him directly into the Maw, bypassing the Arbiter. This brings up an interesting point, that maybe Arthas wasn't so evil to begin with, and that he could have have possibly gone to Revendred, because really he was hot-headed and arrogant, but most crimes he committed was when he was already consumed by the powers of the Maw, so you could argue that this wasn't by his will. A good example would be if you had like a perfect paladin that was resurrected as an undead and he just committed atrocities on the behalf of the Lich King without his will. You wouldn't really say these were crimes he did consciously. So Uther threw him into the Maw directly, and as Arthas was a character with a lot of soul power, this could have really upset the balance. Plus, bypassing the Arbiter seems like a really big deal, because what is the point if you could just bypass him? While I don't think there was one single event that broke the machine, I see it more as a dam holding this water impacted by many other hits, but this one, the death of Arthas, was a really significant hit. All in all, as more of these shorts will be released as well as Shadowlands, we will definitely get to the root of the cause and we will learn the true significance of Arthas. Key points that we need to know would be about the jailer and what does he actually want, how the machine works, and what is the connection between the dreadlords, Legion, and the Maw. However, what is interesting is that Arthas and the Lich King are actually a lot more significant than we once thought, and it is funny how everything is kind of turning full circle, because to me Arthas was like the biggest threat during Wrath of the Lich King, but then we went further and we figured out that there was a lot more going on behind the scenes with the cosmos, the titans and everything, and then you figured out Arthas was no one important, but now it turns out that he was an agent of the Maw, and that had he grown more powerful, a Legion invasion of Azeroth would be nothing to what Arthas and the Lich King and the Jailer could unleash upon us. Thank you for watching. Check out my Kultiran so big by clicking on the screen, and check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.